Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan warned us of the use of music to control not just mind in general, not just behavior in general, but specifically to control black minds.
First things first, there is no judgment in the light of it. But I gotta acknowledge the influence that hip hop has on the culture. And we have to recognize and acknowledge the law of cause and effect. Now, if you heard from our brother Dr. Wesley, when he quoted the minister, sight, sound, touch, taste, and what we hear has an influence upon our thinking. Sound has a very particular power when it comes to the influence it has upon the mind. Brain synchronization. When we hear something and our vision, how we perceive reality is heightened, we understand that this is stimuli for our minds. What we hear, what we see, what we touch, what we taste, what we feel, stimuli for the mind. It's fuel, it's food. And what is the material of something like WAP? Wet. Now some may say, okay, it's just a song. I'm 29 rotations around the sun. But when you get down to the impressionable ages, preteen, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, we're not talking about something that's just a song. And even most of us don't really have a grasp on concentration and focus, where even though we listen to something, it's with an intent behind it, with a purpose, not just casually feeding our minds something, not like it's for a purpose of an experiment. So, you're observing in the experience as well as participating in it, instead of just blindly participating in it minus the observation, the conscious observation. So this stuff is just being poured over into the mind, and it really is junk, it's garbage. This is no shot towards Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion. Here's why. Mass shooting happens. You can blame the gun, but that doesn't make sense. You look at the shooter, the person who actually pulled the trigger. Now, it's not to say that they don't have any control, but you got to think about, if you go to your record executives and you drop some concerts where they got to list something for the love of the people, and they tell you, well, no, this isn't going to sell. Well, they're telling you no. And then, of course, your livelihood, whatever the case, whatever excuse that can be offered, or reason or explanation that can be offered, that keeps us from sticking to principles, understanding the influence that is had from this music, from our work, from our art on the masses of the people. You take it and you shape the good music or the conscious stuff, and you say, okay, we're gonna put out something like this because this is going to sell. In no way, shape, or form is this elevating the black woman. And the reason why this is so important is because the black woman is the key to the resurrection of all of humanity. The bottom has to come up to the top. In a white supremacist, patriarchal society, the black woman is the most disrespected, the most unprotected woman, the most disposable, not in actuality, but that's just how it is right now. So if she's at the bottom, and the woman, just in general, the woman is the co-creator with the God. Sperm, he takes that, and you and I come up out of it. So what does this tell us? What she feeds on has a direct result, more of a direct result on that child than what we do. Because once it's put in the ground, it's like anything, right? You put a seed in the ground, and depending on the quality of that soil will depend on the yield of the fruit.
This is why, brothers, We have got to see that women are educated. I say this to all Muslims in this audience. I go to the mosques in the world of Islam, and in many of them the women are not present. It's just men. Women are at home with the children or somewhere else. Men study the Quran. It's the same way in the Jewish tradition. The Jews are in the synagogue studying the Torah. They really don't care whether the women master the principles in the Torah or not. And Muslim men don't care whether the women master the principles in the Quran. That's totally wrong. Totally wrong. Because if a woman don't master the teachings of the Quran and the Torah and the gospel, what will she feed to her children other than what she knows? If a woman knows foolishness, she will make a fool out of your children.